Alright, what's up guys? Today I am going to try my best and I am going to show you how to turn this into something like this. Alright, this is a long overdue bucktail tying tutorial. And I haven't tied in, I don't know, 2 years? Just kind of never got around to it. Alright, I'm going to start off. What you're going to tie on, your base, it's going to be a stainless steel throttle cable coil. That's what I found is the easiest to tie onto. It's cheap. You can buy it in bulk and get like, I forget what it was, like a 50 or 75 foot coil of this stuff. It was like 40 bucks. But guys use a lot of different stuff. This is what I use. So for starters, we're going to cut off like a 2.5 inch chunk, and we're going to put it onto our fly vise. So I modified it. We thread a piece of 051 wire, kind of bent up like that to give it some ridges, and then the coil will actually press onto there pretty firmly. So I'll put the 051 wire in the vise, clamp it in, kind of twist the coil onto it. You don't want any sticking out the front here, otherwise it'll clip your thread as you're tying. You don't want that. Alright, so speaking of thread, this is the thread I use. It is, let me get you a part number here. Nylon thread, size E. It's coarse. You want the coarse stuff for the big stuff. You can throw it on your bobbin. I use I think it's the Magnum. It's like a Magnum adjustable tension bobbin. You see like a little tension wheel here. You can kind of spin it and get more or less tension. I just crank it down, tight as it'll go. You know, this stuff isn't going to break very easily on you. So you got your thread. Start up towards the top of your coil. And you just want to do like a wrap to kind of catch the tag end here. And you just wrap it down. Give you something to start with. You know, some grip on that coil, for lack of better explanation. By the way, I suck at videos, so normally I don't tie these and talk out loud. Throw down a base coat of your cement. I like the Loon stuff. I got soft head and hard head. Both will work. I like them. They don't stink. You know, guys use regular, what's it called? It's some kind of cement. I forget the name of it, but it stinks. It really does stink. And I'm working in a spare bedroom, so I don't want the stink. So I use this stuff. I found it works pretty good. A couple of wraps, up and down. Now we're going to put on some feathers hanging out the back here. These are the ones I like. Found them on, I think it was Lure Parts Online. I know it's going to be backwards. It is what it is. I'll read it out to you. Strung saddle hackle. All right. It's made by Nature's Spirit. Oh, I'll grab you a couple 2-3 of these. They're going to come strung. Said I haven't done this in 2 years, so I'm trying to remember how to do it myself while trying to teach you. It's going to be an experience for both of us. All right. So yeah, they're strung on there. They're kind of sewn together. Just pluck them out. All right. All right. And you're going to make a mess. So you have a good vacuum cleaner ready. All right. So now when you pluck your saddle hackle, you're going to have that little tuft of feathers at the end here. You just want to peel all that off so you get a nice clean stem, if you will. All right. And when you lay it onto your coil, it's going to have a natural bend like this. All right. You want that always facing outward. So the angle of the dangle goes upward. All right. And you just kind of do 1 wrap, 2 wraps. That'll hold it. And you can start prepping all your other colors here. I was going to do orange, no, white and blue. I probably should have prepped all these bags first. Opened them all up so this didn't take as long. I'm going to grab a handful of blue. All right, handful of white. I still don't know if this pattern's going to turn out. I should have done like a basic one, but if I'm tying something, I want to tie something interesting. Something that may or may not even turn out. I don't know yet. We're going to do some more orange. We're going to do some white. And we're just going to kind of stagger them, you know, kind of mix it up. Normally I do like a full wrap of one solid color and then another color, but we're going to tie a little one today, so we're going to fit a whole bunch of colors into a small area. And some of these, they don't need to be plucked, that's why I'm just throwing them on here. They got a pretty clean stem, so I'm just throwing them on. Some of them like these though, they're kind of dirty looking. You know, they're not going to lay down real nice. So you just want to clean them up a little bit. That one needs an orange. Oh, and don't pull too tight at first, because if you pull too tight, you'll kind of shift your feathers. You don't want that. All right, now I need one more blue, otherwise it won't match. Gotta look good, you know? Gotta look good. One more white. All right. And oh, when you're putting your feathers on, you want to have your thread, I like to have it start like not right where it's clean, but a little bit back. I don't know, I think if you grab some of the feathers, it actually helps the feather itself hold better while you're doing your initial tying. Otherwise they shift all over the place. All right, then take some of your cement of choice. A little bit on there. Not too much. You don't want it to drip everywhere or go down your feathers and whatnot. And then they'll stick together and that won't look very good. Like that, a little bit there. And I like to just grab the whole chunk of feathers here, and now give it some tight wraps. All right, up and down the base, and a little bit past it. And keep in mind where your coil ends. You don't want to go past that and cinch down, otherwise you got to start all over. So the base ends about, I don't know, 1/8 inch away from where I last tied. That's good enough. And then do a knot here. Another one. I forget the name of this knot. It's super easy. I can't do it slow, otherwise I mess it up. It's just a regular fly tie knot. Kind of take 2 fingers, I guess. Wrap the line from the front to the back. Twist and turn. Bring it over top. Drop it down. Pull it and cinch it. That's what I found works. I can do it nice and fast, and it's a pretty easy knot. All right, now we got white, blue, and orange. So the next logical color is going to be, let's do dark green, because why not, right? Why not? So this is just going to be for marabou. Like I said, it is a messy process, all right? So now you got your tuft of boo, and these are all stitched together too, right? So you're gonna have a lot of this stuff in there, a lot of junk, a lot of filler. I like to save these pieces for later, right? They may not look like much, but you'll want to save them, trust me. I'll get to that later on when we finish up this thing. All right, so I used to pull them right out of the stitching. Not anymore. Ain't nobody got time for that. Grab it so your stitching is just past your fingers here. Cut it right out. Oh, I should have grabbed better scissors. Now, that goes right on the floor. We'll vacuum it up later. One nice thing about being a bachelor, you get a spare room to do all this kind of stuff in. All right. So for your first one, that's about all you need. All right. Width of your palm, nice chunk of boo. That may be a little bit too much. I don't know if you can tell for size reference. No, got about that much. Probably a little bit too much. So we'll have to smooth it out here. So put this on right in front of your feather stems, your bases. I forget what they're called. Lay that on there like that. Want to do one light wrap. 2 light wraps, sorry. All right, then kind of smooth it out. Roll around your coil. All right, you want it nice and even. You don't want any high spots or low spots or. All right, give it a good 2 wraps there. Now we're gonna mix it up again. We're gonna go. Like I said, I don't know if this pattern's gonna turn out. I really don't know. So we're gonna do like this. I don't even know what you call it. Like, it's not quite a bright yellow, but it's like a little bit darker yellow. Looks kind of cool. It's like Sunny Delight. All right, rip that out of there. Does take some muscle. Sometimes they're easy. Sometimes they are not. Go ahead and snip your bases off again. All right. That way we got a nice clean ends. And you just want to kind of keep in mind, you know, how long your first base was, how long your second base is. You know, you want them to match. So keep that in mind. You know, sometimes you'll get marabou that has, it's like super long, like this. Very, very long. Compared to that. You know, it's a little bit longer. So you kind of want to either mix and match your colors to suit the other lengths of marabou, or if you're tying a smaller one like this, just cut it down to size. You know, if you're gonna make a big double 10 or 12 or whatever, then you can run the long stuff. We're just gonna do like regular 8s today. So this will be 2 wraps of marabou and call it good. All right, so you lay this one on right next to your first one. Make sure that the bases are pretty much lined up. Do 2 more wraps. Kind of smooth it out again. Roll it around that coil. All right, then a couple more heavy wraps like that. Pinch everything down. I think it might turn out. I don't know yet. All right. So we got almost full coverage. We got to lay 1 more in here. So in the spirit of will it or will it not turn out, let's do a blue. All right. Maybe about yay much. All right. Grab and pull. Like I said, this is going to be a messy process. partially why I haven't tied in so long. I don't miss the mess. You know, I used to tie on a concrete floor in a basement. Easy cleanup, easy, easy, easy. Now I got a spare bedroom with carpet, right? All right, lay that one on there too. Make sure everything's lined up. Make sure your ends match here. You want it to all look uniform and, you know, as professional as you can make it. I got a little bit of the sewing left in there. All right, take the thread, a couple wraps, make sure it's all even. A couple more. Now we're done with our base. All right, so now let's make another knot. Everything kind of stays while we get our glue. Pull it down a little bit. Delicious. For this, put it all over, I'm going to call it the tag end. It's this little fluff hanging out this side. I think instead of doing the threads, if you do this, it'll make the flared part stiff and it won't be able to pull out of the threads. That's my theory. We're going to do the threads too, but if you soak this part of the boo, it's going to essentially bond all that marabou together, and I think it's going to make it a little bit stronger. All right. You don't want to do too much though, just enough to soak it, but otherwise when you lay your next patch over, it's going to stick to it. Nobody wants that. So do that. Normally I would let it dry at this point, you know, grab the vacuum, clean up, but for the sake of time here, we're just going to tie right over it. It'll be good enough. This one's going to go in my box. I'm not going to sell it. All right, a couple more wraps here. Squeeze all that glue out. Another knot. All right, now what we want to do for the next one here. Now, and always spin your vise back as you go. So every time you're starting a new layer, you want to spin that vise back so that as you wrap, you can spin it forward with you. There you go. Out of there. All right, now it's kind of a mixed bag of stuff, so I just keep them in these 9x6 boxes. Makes it so easy to store all of your boo, all your feathers. They're cheap, you know. All right, and as you're picking out your colors, sometimes you'll get these, I don't know what they're called, quills? No, not quills. I don't know, a very, very stiff feather. Like they're basically unusable. Like that one, a lot of spring to that one. That's not going to flow very well in the water. It's not going to look very good. You know, very big stalk in there. All right, so we're going to do some like this brown. I don't know, kind of looks like a smallmouth or maybe like a walleye brown or something. There's another big quill. Take that out of there. We'll clean it up later. All right. Whoop, I got ahead of myself. All right, I'm gonna put that down. What we gotta do is bring our thread, oh God. Bring our thread just in front of where we finished last, all right? So we want the thread just up here by, I don't know, like 1/4 inch. Basically, we're going to lay this chunk of boo right up, oh God. All right, so I gotta clean these ends up. It's a little discolored, and I want it to match the same length as before, so that when I pull it forward a little bit, you can still see these colors. Everything kind of flares together when it pulls through the water. So you want them the same length, or maybe just a little bit shorter. I like same length. All right. So we set the second chunk of boo about 1/4 inch in front of where we ended with the first chunk. It's really hard to explain. I've never actually explained how to tie something to anyone. I mean, I'm not even very good at it. So it's kind of hard to convey what goes on in my head to actual terms while I'm trying to do this. All right, so you had your first chunk of boo, right? It's laying down here like this. That's the first chunk. This is where we stopped tying. All right, so when we laid the second chunk, the brown on, we want it just in front of it. And then when we cinch it, it's actually going to pull it down, if that makes any sense. See? I don't know if you can tell. No, it's already tight. So when I pull it down, it actually flared forward because it hit the ramp of the marabou and it pulled it up. I spun this whole thing backwards. All right, I make mistakes. All right, now our vise is in the right orientation here. So we got our brown, we got some blues. I don't think we have, let's go with this one. It's like I really like this green. I forget what it's called. I probably have a bag of it somewhere. It's not damsel, and they come in bags like this, by the way. Here's your bag of boo. Now, 1 ounce, this is damsel green marabou. anglersworkshop.com. I'm pretty sure I bought it off of Lure Parts online. Probably just their source, wherever they get it from. No, this one's got a big old stem in there too, big old stalk. Pull that out. Nothing salvageable in there. Grab yourself another chunk of boo. I don't know, to put it in perspective, I'm grabbing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stems of boo. All right, to kind of give you a number instead of just it's like this much. There's 5 stems in there. I know they vary in thickness and size and density and whatever, but to give you a starting point, there's 5 stems in there. All right, so now we got our cool green. I forget what it's called. I have a bag of it somewhere. I got bags everywhere. I'm not organized. I'm not even going to zoom out to show you how unorganized this room is. That would just be embarrassing, but there is lure making stuff and blades, and it's everywhere. I mean, I got to organize this, maybe make up a shelf again, some pegboard, something. All right, we lay that on there, cinch it a little bit tight, not too tight, a couple wraps. All right, so now we got greens. Let's do, oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot the red. This was my idea the whole time. I wanted to use a little bit of red. I didn't know how it was going to turn out, but I think red would kind of set it off. Maybe like a bluegill or a sunfish pattern of sort. We're going to use some red, all right? I forgot all about the red. And I got all nervous making this video, and I forgot about the red. All right, throw that away. Put your red on just like that. Make sure it's all lined up. Bases are lined up. A couple of quick wraps. We're actually going to go back and I want to add a little bit more red. So if we want to add some accents here, just grab like just a little bit, one little tuft, all right? I'm gonna put some red in there, just like that. I want it to be about that long. get off the base. And you can cut it after it's on. You know, if you got a super long piece of boo and it matches up on this side lengthwise, you have a ton hanging out here, you can snip it afterwards. I like to do it right away because I've actually tied a couple of bucktails that I thought turned out so sick, so sweet. And as I was trimming it, I cut my thread and the whole thing fell apart in my lap. So it never again. Cut it now, trim it up maybe a little bit later, but you just want to do some detail work. You don't want to be just sitting there hacking at it, you know? Otherwise mistakes happen. All right, so now we're going to do, kind of want to do no white. Let's do a little more blue. I think white would kind of ruin it with the red. White and red is really, really hard to pull off and make look good. Just personal experience. So we're going to do a little bit of blue, but we're also going to do some of that yellow. We're going to do a little bit of accent. So this is like, when I say save this stuff, you're going to use it later. You're going to use it in these accent pieces. Like I got one little thing of blue here, right? And if I had a chunk of yellow, I would use that. But I don't. So we're going to rip off a little piece here. Actually split it in half. All right, so we got our blue, our yellow. We're actually going to put these together, all right? And depending on which side you want to be more visible, goes out obviously, like that, you know, whichever one, personal choice, your choice. I think we're going to do yellow out because we already got the blue back here. So I don't want to do blue out here because then it'll just be blue. I want to do a little bit of yellow and blue. All right, so we're going to lay that one there. So we got a little bit of a low spot here where we're still tying, so we'll do yellow here. As I'm watching this in the phone, I realize that you are looking at this side and I'm looking at this side. It's all relative. It's the same thing. It's not. It ain't rocket surgery, you know. It ain't rocket surgery. We're not fusing atoms here. As much as I like to brag and say I'm fusing atoms in my spare bedroom, we're not fusing atoms. We're just making a mess and we're tying cool stuff. All right, so now, I don't know how this looks. I think it looks all right. It doesn't match. It's not pretty, but you know what? It's different. And I bet you it'll get bit. It'll get bit by something. I mean, that looks kind of cool. You got green, blue, yellow, red. Perfect. If I was a musky, I'd take a bite at it. All right, a couple of knots, cinch it down. I don't want to do a full wrap yet before I glue it. I want to, like I said, trim this up because we're going to put the final wrap on here. And this is where the head and the epoxying are going to come into play. So you want this thing to be pretty uniform. You know, no one likes a bucktail that doesn't have that cone-shaped head. You know, I think it looks great. It shows you paid attention to details. You know, in all honesty, we could wrap it right here, put a couple more wraps on, some head cement, and be done. You know, it would catch fish. I'm sure it would last, but I want to do a little something artsy, you know? I take pride in these things. Take a lot of time to make them, you know, between, you know, figuring out colors, actually making them, doing the finishing touches on the head cement, the blades, the assembly, the testing, blah, blah, blah. I want to make something I'm proud of at the end of the day, you know? All right, where was I? All right, a little bit of head cement, just a little bit. You don't want to go too much if you're going to epoxy it right away. I found that the head cement, if it's not all the way cured, I mean all the way cured, all the way dry at the touch, and you go to epoxy it, that epoxy will not cure properly, and it'll end up chunking off after time. It's not good when that happens, you know? You don't want that. All right, now we're all wrapped up. All right, so now we're gonna put on our finishing wraps. All right, you wanna squeeze down the end piece. I don't know what the technical term is, the chunk of boo that's hanging out past the threads, eh? We'll call it that. So now we got past them, you know, now we're tying on just the coil, and then you want to work back towards the body of the bucktail slowly, making sure that everything is even. You got all the right wraps. All right. And we are squeezing a lot of the glue out, which is fine. You know, we'll just wipe that off as we go here. And then I like to put a little knot here. All right, halfway down the head. And a couple more wraps, and then cinch it down right where the boo starts. So we're going to do it right there, right between the threads and the boo, little knot. All right, now we're all knotted. When we're not that I didn't trust the first one, I just like to do a couple. Now we can cut the main nylon off. All right, now we could stop here. This would be fine. You know, mix together your epoxy, maybe put a little bit of paint in there. Ope is waiting right outside the door for me. He's getting impatient. All right, but I like to be a little extra, all right? I like to be a little extra. So I take, oh boy, this started coming apart on me. We might not be doing purple today. All right, so this, I like doing this instead of paint and epoxy or glitter. I think it looks kind of cool, and I can do all sorts of different colors without any paint. This is like rod thread, you know, if we're doing accents on your eyelets or whatever colors on the blank of the rod. I like using this stuff. I think it's kind of cool. I throw it in a bobbin that doesn't necessarily have. Ooh, I think I got cut off. I didn't know this thing was already 40-some minutes long. I like to throw it in a bobbin that doesn't have a very good braking system, just because I don't need a whole lot of tension to use this stuff, and it's very, very, I think brittle is the word. You can't put a whole lot of force behind it. You know, it will break. You know, it's not your main tying thread. This is just accent thread. So we're gonna do one wrap towards the head, save your tag end over here, lay it towards your body, the body of your bucktail. All right, and then slowly wind up that tag end towards the bucktail, and then light wraps. All right, and this stuff is very, very thin, so it's going to take a lot of wraps to do. But it's all going to be worth it in the end. I like to do colors that don't match the bucktail at all. Like I'll do a small mouth or a walleye pattern. I'll put pink on there, like a pink head. You know, I think it looks kind of cool. Fish don't care. They're not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to eat that fish because it's got a pink head. Who cares? I think it looks cool. It stands out. That's all I'm after. I think it looks cool. You know, you can play around with your own personal preference. You can do, you know, something that'll match. You know, if you got a walleye colored body, you know, all marabou, and you got, I think I got some dark green metallic or something, throw that on there. I like to be different. I'm different, so there we go. That looks pretty good right there. So what we can do is a knot here. And you want to make it quick because this stuff, it doesn't lay the nicest. I don't build rods, so I don't know if there's some better stuff out there for doing this, but it kind of has a memory to it. So when you go to do your knot, you want to really keep pressure on your thread here right up until the last second, and then tie it. Otherwise, if you kind of miss, it'll kind of like spring out, and then you got to wrap it all over again. All right, so I mean, it's your choice to use this stuff or not. I like using it. It's a little, I don't know, I think it's cool. A little extra flair. I don't know what you want to call it. Cut that off pretty close. All right, and then here's your tag end. You want to cut this one off when that went towards the body on the first wrap there. Cut it off as close as you can. Throw that over there. Got a little extra glue hanging out there. All right, that's fine. There we go. Whew, it was really on there. All right, so there's our bucktail. Now there's our head wrap there. So now what we're gonna do is, I'm a mechanic by trade, so we come across these guys a lot. These are journal sleeve protectors, all right? You know, they get thrown in the trash, whatever. And I actually found like a whole sleeve of these things on eBay for cheap. It was like a couple of bucks. You know, you got all these sleeves. All right, what I use these for is when I go to epoxy it, I'll take this sleeve and I'll put it right over the bucktail, and I will slide it the whole way up just so I can get at the coil here. Should have used a little bit bigger one. Slide that puppy up just so your threads are showing right there. And now you can epoxy it without all this stuff getting in the way. You know, guys will use a clip maybe to keep everything in line. I put it in a straitjacket. I think it works out really, really well. And then I'll take the pre-looped end 051 wire. I'll just stick it right in there, and then I'll put it over here for epoxy. So I'm not going to epoxy it. I think I was going to epoxy it and then cut the video and blah blah blah. We don't need to epoxy this one. It's going to go in my box. I'm satisfied with it. It'll hunt, it'll catch fish. For the sake of this video, we're just going to finish this bucktail now. So, cut that thing off. Flush. We got a little bit of stragglers, but we are pretty much flush with the head there. You know, it would look a lot better with epoxy. I could probably sand it down so you don't see any metal. Make it look really cool, really snazzy. But we ain't got time for that today. All right, take your 051 wire. Take all your goodies. I don't have split ring pliers on me. It's still in the boat. I forgot to grab that when I grabbed my hook cutters. No, so we're not going to put hooks on here today. So take your weight, throw it all the way down to the pre-looped end of your 051 wire. These are pre-looped. I think they are 12 inches long. Lure Parts Online again. I get all my stuff from Lure Parts Online. You know, everything all in one place. It usually ships really, really fast. Ships through Speedy, so it's usually pretty cheap or free. I think it was usually free over a certain dollar amount. I can't remember. Take your bucktail. Kind of gotta feel around for the coil in here. Normally I can find it right away, but I'm feeling kind of pressured since I am videotaping this. I feel like people are judging me right now. There we go. Slide that up. All right, so when it comes to beads, you got to do a little bit of testing, see what beads, or how many beads rather, work for your tying style or what blades you run. I do 4 of these 1/4 inch beads. All right, thread the 1/4 inch on, and then I got some 3/16. I do 3 of those. So we got 4 quarters, 3 3/16. I'm sorry, 4. I use 4. This is one I tied earlier. This one, kind of a cool pattern, cool blades. But yeah, I do. No, I do 3. I was right. I only do 3. I thought I did 4. Oh, 4. So you do 4 quarters, 3 3/16, and then you do this itty bitty little 5/32. I like to run the smallest bead I can as the first bead that touches your clevis. I think it's a friction thing. You know, you want the least amount of friction possible. I am covered in feathers. You want the least amount of friction possible on your clevis so that they'll spin easier, basically. I didn't grab blades. Let me pick out a blade real quick and we'll finish this. Alright, I got a wall of blades over there. We're gonna do these. These are pretty cool. I think they'll match. So basically, you know, this one's pretty straightforward. Take your clevis, put it through your blade, put the bottom one on first, just let it hang. You don't want to do both of them at the same time. I know guys run 1-piece clevises. I like 2-piece, whatever, personal preference. The 1-piece, they might spin better. They're not better, but they spin quicker, I guess. I don't know. I never used them. I don't like them. Personal preference, I like 2-piece. Always have. Always will. Can't change my mind. So we got our clevises on. Boom. These are number 8s. If I got a bag of clevises, I can show you that. I had a bag. I swear I did. I put it out on purpose. Here. Oh, it doesn't have a part number. Big old bag of clevises. I think they're part size 8s. I use 8s and 6s. These are 8s. They're probably a little bit big for the standard Colorado 8s. They are a little bit big. No, I'm looking at them. I use 6s for these. I had 8s on hand. They'll spin, but they're a little bit big. Like I said, this one's going in my box, so I'm not too concerned. We'll see how it works. Call it a trial bucktail, I guess. All right, we're gonna figure out if it works or not, and then if it doesn't work, we can always modify it. All right, that can stay there. So when it comes to your looped end, all right, I gotta remember how to do this. It's been a while. So grab it with these are my needle nose pliers actually from work. Nipex, made in Germany. Awesome snap ring pliers. The nice thing about these is I've tied so many bucktails with them. There's actually a groove worn in the snap ring plier. Like you're supposed to use the snap ring pliers up here, obviously for snap rings. Yeah, I dual purpose them. Nothing like spending all that money on the snap-on truck and then bending bucktails with them. So I like to go probably that much. I don't know, it's like an inch or so above the clevises. take your wire down here towards the bucktail and bend it back about yay much. All right. Then take your top one and bring it forward like that. All right. Then remember exactly where, because these are tapered. All right, so you gotta remember how far down the snap ring player shaft, I guess you want to call it, you were. Otherwise, your circle or your loop will not be exactly perfect. And I am really obsessed about things being perfect and aesthetically pleasing. So now we've bent it the rest of the way. All right. So there's our loop. There is our loop. And you can buy a machine for this or a jig. I got a text message. Get out of here. All right. So there is our loop. Now, if I had my vice grips, I would be using those right now. Of course, I grabbed a needle nose, and I believe I put it downstairs on the counter. So we don't exactly have any way to grab this. I'm going to use the snap ring pliers again, and I'm just grabbing the eye here. And what we're going to do is we're just going to wrap this wire around the shaft. God, this would be so much easier with my vice grips. I can do it by hand, but it's not going to be as pretty. It's not going to be as pretty, guys. Normally they turn out like this. All right. That one's pretty good. You know, nice tight wraps. Looks really good. This one's not turning out so hot. I'm going to try it, but it's not. The problem is the snap ring pliers are in the way. You know, usually you hold it away from the bucktail, not right next to your hands. No, this is going to turn out terrible. Terrible. I'm embarrassed. I don't even want to show you. I could also be like everybody else and just do like 2 wraps and be like, good. But I like to do like a ton of wraps. I think like 5 or 6 is a pretty good number for me. I really like the look of it. Makes it, look a little bit better. It doesn't offer any more strength or durability. It's just kind of my trademark, if you will. You know, and then take your cutters. You want to go right down the base there. Close your eyes. Cut it off. Ooh, that's terrible. And then there's all your wraps. All right. That is your bucktail. Boom. I think that'll catch fish. The feathers don't really match though. Oh well, that one's going in my box. But yeah, that'll pretty much do it. If you have any questions, let me know. But yeah, that's my process. There's probably some guys out there that do it way different than I do, but it's what I found works. It's kind of what I've just been doing, and you know, it's working for me. So I thought I would share it with you, and hopefully it's enough to get you out there and start making some of your own baits. You know, it's a great way to pass the time in winter for sure, but it's also really rewarding to catch a fish on something that you actually made. You know, I think that's pretty sick. So yeah, good luck to you guys, and spring can't come fast enough, right? Take care.